A Chestertonian analysis of the end quote, going direct end quote, paradigm's failure. With a view through Thomas Paine's end quote, common sense end quote, lens. By Grub Street in Exile. A Chestertonian analysis of the end quote, going direct end quote, paradigm. As I sit here, quill in hand, pondering the curious state of our modern financial affairs, I am reminded of the words of a certain Thomas Paine, who, in his spirited call for independence, laid bare the absurdities of government and the nature of power. The current financial strategy known as end quote, going direct end quote, presents itself as a marvel of modern ingenuity, an attempt to inject liquidity directly into the veins of our economy. Yet, like a grand magician who pulls a rabbit from a hat but leaves behind a trail of confusion and chaos, it reveals itself to be a trick rather than a transformation. The illusion of control. Consider, if you will, the very essence of this end quote, going direct end quote, strategy. It purports to offer control over our financial destiny, yet it operates under the illusion that we can direct the flow of money as if it were water from a tap. Paine, with his keen insight, would likely have scoffed at such a notion, for he understood that true governance cannot be reduced to mere mechanics. It is a living entity, shaped by the will and welfare of the people. The current paradigm, however, has turned this notion on its head, creating a system where the very lifeblood of our economy is manipulated by a select few, those who wield power not through the consent of the governed, but through the machinations of digital finance. The paradox of abundance. In Paine's time, the struggle for independence was a fight against tyranny and oppression, a call to arms for a people who understood that their rights were inalienable and their governance should reflect their collective will. Today, we find ourselves in a paradox of abundance, where the tools designed to liberate us from economic stagnation have instead shackled us to new forms of servitude. The end quote, going direct end quote, approach, while cloaked in the language of progress and efficiency, has led to inflated asset prices and a widening chasm of inequality. It is a curious irony that in our quest for directness, we have become more indirect in our freedom, much like a man who, in seeking to simplify his life, ends up entangled in a web of his own making. The call for genuine engagement. Paine's exhortations were clear. The power of government derives from the people, and it is their right to question and challenge authority. In contrast, the architects of the end quote, going direct end quote, paradigm seem to suggest that we should trust their expertise, that we should relinquish our agency in favor of their calculated interventions. This, my dear reader, is where the folly lies. For what is a government, if not a reflection of the collective will? And what is a financial system, if not a means to serve that will? The failure of end quote, going direct end quote, is not merely a financial miscalculation. It is a profound misunderstanding of the very nature of governance and society. A new vision for the future. As I reflect on these matters, I am struck by the wisdom of Paine's vision for a government that is simple, effective, and accountable. He understood that the complexities of governance should not lead to confusion, but rather to clarity and purpose. In the face of the current failures, we must heed his call to action. We must demand a financial system that prioritizes the welfare of the many over the profits of the few, one that embraces transparency and decentralization rather than control and surveillance. Conclusion, the path forward. In conclusion, my friends, the end quote, going direct end quote, paradigm serves as a cautionary tale, a reminder that in our quest for efficiency and control, we must not lose sight of the principles that underpin our society. We must strive for a future where the economy serves the people, not the other way around. Let us take inspiration from Paine, who dared to challenge the status quo and envision a world where liberty and justice prevail. For in this great endeavor, we find not only our purpose but our very humanity. Thus, let us rise to the occasion, armed with the wisdom of the past, and forge a path toward a future where our financial systems reflect the true spirit of democracy, one that is vibrant, equitable, and above all human. Summary of end quote, Common Sense end quote, by Thomas Paine. Introduction. In Common Sense, published in 1776, Thomas Paine argues for American independence from British rule. He critiques the monarchy and hereditary succession, emphasizing the need for a government that serves the people rather than oppresses them. Paine's work is not only a call to arms but also a philosophical exploration of government, society, and human rights. Key themes. 1. The nature of government and society. Paine distinguishes between society and government, stating that society is a product of human wants and needs, while government arises from human wickedness. He argues that while society promotes happiness, government is a necessary evil that restrains vices. Thus, the ideal government should ensure security with minimal intrusion into personal freedoms. 2. The flaws of monarchy. Paine vehemently criticizes monarchy, describing it as an absurdity that is fundamentally flawed. He points out that monarchs possess power through birthright rather than merit, leading to tyranny. He uses historical examples to illustrate how kings have historically failed their subjects and argues that any system that relies on a single ruler is inherently dangerous. 3. The case for independence. Paine makes a compelling case for independence, arguing that the American colonies have the right to self-govern. He emphasizes that the struggle for independence is not just a local issue, but a universal struggle for human rights. He states, and quote, "The cause of America is in a great measure the cause of all mankind," end quote, highlighting the global implications of their fight for freedom. 4. The role of the people. Paine stresses the importance of civic engagement and the responsibility of citizens to challenge unjust authority. He encourages Americans to take control of their destiny and reject the oppressive rule of the British Crown. His call to action is rooted in the belief that a government should reflect the will of the people, not impose its will upon them. 5. The vision of a new government. Paine envisions a government based on democratic principles, where representatives are accountable to the people. He advocates for a system that ensures freedom and security, suggesting that the new government should be simple and effective, avoiding the complexities that lead to confusion and tyranny. Conclusion. Common Sense serves as a powerful manifesto for independence, combining practical arguments with philosophical insights. Paine's work not only galvanized support for the revolutionary cause, but also laid the groundwork for democratic ideals that continue to resonate today. His insistence on the rights of individuals and the responsibilities of government remains a cornerstone of modern political thought. Narrative on present discontents. The failure of the going direct paradigm. The elephant in the room. Going direct has failed. In recent discussions surrounding the going direct paradigm, it has become increasingly clear that this approach to economic management is failing. As we navigate through the complexities of modern financial systems, it is essential to address the underlying issues that have led to this discontent. The paradigm, initially touted as a solution to economic stagnation, has instead exacerbated existing inequalities and created new forms of economic disenfranchisement. The illusion of control. The going direct strategy, which sought to inject liquidity directly into the economy, has resulted in an illusion of control over financial markets. This approach, while appearing effective in the short term, has led to unintended consequences, such as inflated asset prices and an increase in wealth disparity. The very tools designed to stabilize the economy have become instruments of further inequality, leaving many questioning the efficacy of such measures. A critique of centralized power. As we examine the mechanisms of the going direct paradigm, it is crucial to highlight the concentration of power within financial institutions and tech oligarchs. Figures like Elon Musk and Peter Thiel, often seen as champions of innovation, have also played significant roles in shaping narratives that serve their interests. The intertwining of technology and finance has created a new form of oligarchy, where decisions are made behind closed doors, further alienating the general populace from the democratic process. The role of digital identity and surveillance. At the heart of this economic transformation lies the increasing emphasis on digital identity and surveillance. The implementation of systems like Aadhaar in India and the proposed digital currencies signal a shift towards a technocratic governance model that prioritizes control over individual freedoms. This shift raises ethical concerns about privacy and autonomy, as citizens become data points in a vast financial machine. The paradox of progress. In this context, the going direct paradigm exemplifies a paradox of progress. While technology promises efficiency and convenience, it often leads to greater disenfranchisement and a loss of agency. The reliance on digital platforms for governance and financial transactions has created a system where individuals are reduced to mere commodities, their worth determined by algorithms rather than human values. The call for a new paradigm. As we reflect on the failures of the going direct approach, it is imperative to advocate for a new paradigm that emphasizes decentralization, transparency, and genuine democratic engagement. The current trajectory, characterized by increasing control and surveillance, poses a threat to the very essence of democracy. To reclaim our autonomy, we must challenge the status quo and demand systems that prioritize human dignity over profit. In conclusion, the going direct paradigm has failed to deliver on its promises, revealing deep-seated issues within our economic and political structures. It is time to confront these challenges head-on and envision a future where technology serves humanity, not the other way around. This narrative addresses the discontents surrounding the going direct paradigm while drawing parallels to the themes discussed in Common Sense by Thomas Paine, emphasizing the importance of autonomy, civic engagement, and the need for a just and equitable society. https://loveman.sdsu.edu/docs/1776thomaspaine.pdf